Wouldn't it be nice if your entire content strategy fit onto one page and your whole team could actually follow it? Well, small teams keep borrowing strategies designed for somebody else entirely. Different budgets, different headcounts, different audience, and wondering why nothing clicks for them. Well, you need to stop working with a strategy that was never built for you. Today's guest, Patricia Aber, has spent her entire career doing the opposite, right? Stripping complexity down until what's left is something a real small team can actually execute. Welcome to Strategy Talks. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Let's strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Now here's your host, Dorien Morin-van.
Hello, welcome everybody to Strategy Talks. We are live on a Tuesday morning. It is May 5th today. In case you're listening to this, watching this live, I want to welcome you. Let us know in the comments whether you're here on LinkedIn or Facebook, or you might see this on YouTube. Those of you who listen to Strategy Talks as a podcast, you'll probably listen to this a few days or a few weeks. Weeks later, I want to welcome you as well. We value your listening time, and we want to make sure that everything we do, we understand that we're not just have people watch a live show, but we also have lots of people listening to this content. So I'm going to introduce you to my new friend, Patricia Aber. She's here from Uganda, and I think you're my first guest from Uganda. So I'm very excited that you're here, and just want to tell everybody the way we got connected is that I did a shout out for new guests for Q2. Did it on LinkedIn, and lots of people connected. And somebody that you work with in the Netherlands, who I was connected with, said, "Hey, you need to talk to Patricia." And so we connected, and we're going to talk about a simple content strategy for small teams. Because, Patricia, a lot of people get this wrong, right?
Yes. Hi, Dorien. Thank you so much for having me. I also want to say hello to the people that are watching, because I know there are a couple of people watching who are looking forward to this event. So yeah, hi.
I am so glad you're here. But yeah, so it's so tempting, right? When you're a content creator, when you're a social media manager, you're on social media and you see big companies jump into big trends, or people that have big budgets do incredible video things. And so, but if you're trying to be like them and borrowing, as we call it, their strategy, things can go wrong, right? So what do you see goes wrong? What is one of the things that you notice?
I wouldn't advise small teams to copy what the big brands are doing, because big brands have the teams, they have the resources. I advise the small teams to focus on their message, simplify their message, and build on that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so their message. Now, it's interesting. I just presented last week at Killington, which is where I live in Vermont, state of Vermont, at a conference, and we were talking about AI assisted content strategy, which is really what we're talking about today. Although I don't know if we're going to get into AI. It wasn't in any of my questions. But one of the things that I wanted to make sure that everybody took home that was in the room with me, that AI assisted content starts with a true story. Now, you work for a lot of European NGOs, you work for businesses, small businesses. And so what you're doing, what I assume you're doing, is you're extracting the stories and amplifying them on social media. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah. And so it's very tempting and this is what was happening to the people in the room, very tempting to start with AI and not start with the stories. And that's where the problem lies. So if you're watching this and listening to this, yes, you can use AI to help amplify your social media. But if you start with AI and then use AI to amplify that, you're just going to have worse content faster and more of it, right? So extracting the stories is what's important. And once you have an original story, then you can amplify it with AI.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yeah.
right. So when somebody's content is messy, what does that mean, Patricia? What do you mean when you say like people's content is messy? I know I have a definition. What do you see when it's messy?
If someone's content is messy, you can actually see it from the fact that they're everywhere. They'll be everywhere. They won't have a strategy. They'll be chasing every trend that they see. They'll be on every platform. They won't have any direction, no clarity, no consistency. That's how you can tell that someone's content is messy and they need a strategy urgently.
Yeah. So what you're saying is don't be everywhere and don't just randomly post. We call that random act of content. We don't want random acts of content. So when you start working with somebody and you realize that, what is the first thing that you say to somebody to stop doing? Say you start with working with a new content, they have random acts of content. It's a new business, a new NGO, you're working with them and you've already identified they're messy, they're everywhere, nothing works. What are you going to tell them to stop doing? What's the first thing you tell them to stop doing?
I'm going to tell them to first stop, pause, and think about what they want to be known for. Let them deeply reflect on what they want to be known for, what they want the people outside there to know them for, to find out their target audience and shoot for them. Yes. They should stop. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard because I'm going to ask this question. I think I already know the answer. Do people generally know who they want to talk to?
That's a very good question, actually. But thank God there are tools for that. Go online, check out Sparktor, check out Sermash. They'll help you find out who you want to talk to and who you need to talk to. Yes.
Yeah. Because when I was at that conference last week, I had a couple of people, I had conversations like, who is your ideal audience? And they go, everybody. I'm like, no, you can't talk to everybody. If you're trying to talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody.
Exactly.
So that's the thing that you're stripping away. Now, walk us through, because, you kind of, as I'm studying who you are and it looked at your LinkedIn profile, you talk about a one-page map. What are some non-negotiables? What needs to be on a map, a strategy map for a small business, a small NGO, a small team? What needs to be on that map?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. There are three pillars, three key areas that need to be on a one-page map. The first one is, and I'll keep recurring them as we keep chatting. I emphasize clarity. Make sure you know what you want to be known for on social media. Focus. Choose a platform that you want your content to be shared on. You don't need to be everywhere. That's actually a waste of time. It's the reason you are everywhere. Get a platform or two and do them properly. That's how you're going to get some serious results. And also be consistent. When you find out what you want to be known for and your target audience and you're focusing on them, you've chosen a platform, show up consistently. And that's how you build a connection with the people. Show up consistently. And when you connect with them, they're going to trust you. And that's how you're going to start getting some leads. Yeah.
Yeah. But I bet you, when you propose this, and I agree with you with these pillars, I bet you get some pushback. But we want to also be on TikTok. Oh, but we also want to be on Instagram, right? What do you say when somebody pushes back? Do you go back to the strategy? What do you go back to? What do you fall back on that shows that this is the right strategy for somebody who gives you the pushback?
When you first go back to the goal of your business and the audience that you want. Where is your audience? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? So I'll properly show you where your audience is and the strategy we're going to use to deploy to attract them and to show your services to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question for you that's not on any of the questions that I gave you. Is there such a thing as posting too much content? Is there such a thing? Yes or no? Do you think there's a thing as posting too much content?
If you had asked me that question 2 days ago, I would have said no. But yes, there's actually such a thing as posting too much content. When I was getting into this social media thing, content creation thing, they told us volume is what matters. Volume is what matters. Volume is what matters. But recently, I was listening to Alex Homozi. He's actually quite popular on YouTube. He was talking about it. He said the algorithm lately has been trained to treat content that is not being engaged with as spam. So they'll reject your content and show it to fewer people. So I could say yes. I could say okay, yeah. There's something as too much content. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think there's such a thing as too much content. And, I almost feel like when you set out of a content strategy, you have to make that decision. It's either quality or quantity, but you can't have both, I think, unless you have an unlimited budget, right? So if you're choosing quality, you're going to have to pick and choose what you spend time on, what you create, and what you post and where you post it. Versus if it's just quantity, you can use AI and post 20 times a day on Facebook. That's what you care to do. But I'm not sure what your results are going to be. So, all right. So I love your 3 pillars. How do you get a team? Because we're talking about small teams. How do you get a team aligned around that content direction? And what does that conversation look like? Because you working with an NGO, you say, well, I'm in Uganda. I know what's happening. I think the storyline is XYZ. You're working with people in Germany, in the Netherlands, people in different areas, and they might say, well, that's not the storyline, or we don't agree. How do you do that? How do you say, but no, I think I'm right? Have you been in that conversation before?
Oh yes. We've actually been in such scenarios before, where we've had challenges of aligning, or we've gotten pushbacks from several team members, but there's actually no magical trick I used to convince them. They just trusted the fact that I'm on the ground, and they let me do the storytelling myself. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's magical. You said there was no magical, but you're on the ground. I think that's the word that we were looking for, right? Believe the people that are on the ground. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this episode of me and Patricia talking about content for small teams, you might have very few resources. You might not be on site. If you're a remote worker and you're supposed to create content, go to the source of the people who are on the ground. Go to the people who are there, interview local people. And even if you're not there, you can do it through a phone call. You can do it through Zoom. You can extract the stories. You have to find them first, and then you have to extract them. But that's your source of truth, the people who are there. And that's something I think that as we are talking about AI, and as as AI is becoming more and more important in our job as social media manager, as content creator, AI is going to step in a lot more. The question comes, who is the source of truth? And you just said that. I'm on the ground. I know what's going on. So for them, you convince them I'm the source of truth. And they agreed. So I love that. I think that is exactly what you should be doing. And if you're in a remote location and you're, creating content for a company and you're not right there, find somebody who is and figure out what the source of truth is and what the stories are that you need to be telling. Because I think that's really, really important. So now you convince them, okay, I'm the source of truth. You build a plan. It's Friday. It's great. You're all set. On Monday, you go, wait a second. Are we sure we're going to do this? you get pushback because now they're worried. Like, are you sure this is going to happen? What do you say then? When do you say wait for the data? Do you say give me 3 months? Like, what do you say?
Execution time, execution time. Things sound good in theory, but when it's time to execute, people sometimes are slow, sometimes become negative, they start resisting, but execution, you start executing it immediately. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it takes time. So in general, when you create a strategy, Patricia, how long does something take to show some results, to show the fruits of your labor? How long does it take to see an uptick in engagement, or to see more people ask questions? Or how long do you give yourself or your team to see some results when you have a good strategy in place?
For good results, I'd give my team 3 months. 3 months, yes. I always go for consistency over virality, because virality fades, but consistency connects. So when something goes viral, it will go viral for a week or two. You get some few comments, but when you're consistent, you get leads. I'm thinking about leads, inquiries within 3 months. Yes.
I love that, because you said something that I love and that we don't hear a lot of marketers talk about, at least not in the smaller teams. They want virality. They're asking for engagement. You said leads. You said, results. So that's what we want. That's really what it wants. You don't need 1,000 people to see your content and have nobody inquire about, what you do or how they can help or how they can be involved. You need maybe 5 or 10 or maybe 50 good people who are ready to jump in and be part of your conversation and what you're doing. So yeah, I love that you said that, because that's the true number that we're chasing. We're chasing the leads. We're not chasing the views or the engagement, right?
Oh, yes,
Um,
yes.
so I'm just going to throw another question out there because I'm curious. What's your favorite format right now? Do you love making reels or carousels, or what are you really into creating right now?
Ah, I'm I'm into blog posts. Blog posts.
Blog posts?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Blog posts. Yes, and also reels occasionally. Though the reels I create are mainly for Instagram and TikTok. Recently I had that the LinkedIn algorithm is not favoring videos, so that's what has had me put a stop to it for now. But I'm going to make more research, and if it's now favoring videos, I'll be posting some more videos up on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn is I am seeing all kinds of new reports. I just this weekend I read a report about LinkedIn that a lot of it has to do with your profile. And so that means that on your profile you have to be consistent about what you talk about, what your expertise is, and then what you share. And so say I'm a content strategist, that almost every post has to be about content strategy before LinkedIn really believes I'm a content strategist, right?
Okay.
So it's really important that what you say on your profile and what's there showing matches what you're talking about. But we all know that on LinkedIn, the posts that go viral are somebody gets mad or upset about something that happened in the workplace, because that gets rewarded instantly. But if you want that consistency, you need to talk about the things that you're the expert in. So if you're the expert in social media management and content strategy, that's what most of your posts, or not most, all of your posts should be about, and LinkedIn will start rewarding that. So and I love that you said that about reels on LinkedIn. I was doing reels a lot last year. The algorithm changed. I now do horizontal videos, clips. They do really well. The clips from the live show do well,
Okay.
and the live show does well. Because guess what? Guess what AI can't do? Have this conversation for us, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So that's why I love live, because you can create an avatar, you can fake things, you can create a picture. We could create a picture of Doreen and Patricia, but AI can't have this conversation for us. So that's why I love live, and I do think that that's what's helping my visibility on LinkedIn. And so I'm all in on live this year. Last year on my show I did a lot of recordings, and so for example with somebody like you who's further away, might have said, hey, let's find a time that works better for you than 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we would have pre-recorded our session. But this year, I want this to be authentic. I want this to be live. This is a conversation that we're having out in the open, that people can ask questions. We have lots of comments coming in. I love it. Eunice is here. Matthijs is here. Vanessa is here. I love it. Everybody is saying great insights. It's awesome. But that's why I do live, because it's something that AI can't recreate. So that's why I think this is an important conversation. But yeah, I'm hoping that some of the video continues to be important on LinkedIn. So I am still doing like little clips and the live shows here. So let me ask you for what is the smallest content habit that a small team, like you have a small team, I have a small team, sometimes we're a team of one, can start right now that will have a big payoff over time? What is a content habit that we can do? Something we can do every week, or something that we just need to get in the habit of doing?
Consistency. Find your platforms, get the days when you're going to be posting, and be consistent on those days. Whether you get the views, the likes, the engagement, whether they're there or not, just stay consistent. And that is one thing I assure you will give you a long-term reward. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell everybody why. I know you know why. It's because we have a lot of lurkers. We have a lot of people who don't engage initially with our content, but are watching our content. And so then when you show up every Monday with a tip, and every Wednesday with a story, and every Friday with a meme, they're going to start watching. And then you get the reactions once you start being consistent. So we have lots of lurkers out there everywhere on all the platforms. And so you have to keep going. And sometimes, is that one of the things I struggle with that? How about you, Patricia? I struggle with keep going and be consistent when it feels like nobody's listening. Have you ever felt that way?
I struggled with it too initially, but then I listened to Modern Millie on YouTube, and she's done to encourage me. She was like, just keep posting. And I was like, why not try it? There's nothing to lose. And I love the results. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I kind of feel that way a little bit. So much content advice out there. I mean, if you Google it, if you go to Claude, if you go to chat, it's built for big brands and big budgets. How do you specifically help small teams unlearn those strategies that were never designed from them in the first place? How do you say and untangle yourself? And so, well, Patagonia is doing this, or, the World Health Organization is doing this. We're a small NGO. We're going to do something different. How do you help them unlearn that behavior?
First, have to note that they're not those big organizations. They're a small team. They may not have as much resources as those do, as those other big companies do. Just come up with a small strategy for them, a simple strategy for them, where you trim off the noise, trim off the clutter, come up with something that is very clear, where their message is very clear to their target audience, and then they post consistently. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question that's also not on there. You said you enjoy making blog content a lot, and I want to kind of dive into that a little bit, because I do too. And I think that the blog game has changed a little bit with SEO and GEO coming onto the scene, and with AI coming to, the LLMs coming to your website, and they're scraping the content. Can you explain why, not just because you love writing it, but why you think that's a good strategy for small teams?
I chose blog writing in particular because it's the best way I can express my thought leadership, my expertise in certain fields. That's why I chose it. Yes. And it has helped. It has made me more visible to people. People recognize me from my blogs. They're like, oh, she wrote about this, she wrote about that. It's not something that I've been in for long. I've been in it for about 2 months. Yes, but I'm loving it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So have you deployed that strategy for some of your clients too? Are you writing blogs for them as well?
I am not yet, but starting mid-May, I'm going to start doing it for their websites. Yes.
Yeah, because I've been doing blogging for 15 years and I can tell
Oh
you
wow.
as the game has changed, blogging is consistent. So if you're listening to our conversation right now, I think an important thing to remember is that when you start out with a content strategy and being consistent, an easy way to do it is pick one piece of long form content. Patricia picks a blog. For some of my clients, pick a blog. That's their main piece of content. But sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a podcast, sometimes it's a webinar. And so when you have that source of truth, that one piece of long form content, Patricia, have you used your blog to then create quotes for yourself or, put little pieces out and draw people back to your blog, right? Because is that what you do to get people to see it?
Oh yes, I do that, and there are really great results from that. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting simple quotes. Yeah, and drawing
Yeah.
people back. Yeah.
Right. And so whether you work with a company that does webinars or a blog post or videos or podcasts, starting with a long form piece of content really allows you to then use AI to, kind of spread that blog content everywhere and draw people back. So I love that you
Yes.
do that for yourself, that you're going to start that with some of the people that you work for. And I really believe that blogging is now dead. Almost every single episode, actually this year, every single episode of Strategy Talks becomes a blog
Mm.
content on my blog, and my traffic is going up. LLMs are quoting me, especially when we talk about data, when we use percentages and we say 50% more this or 30, like LLMs love that data and they come to my blog post and they cite me. So I also want humans to come, of course, but I want more visibility in the end. So I write for the humans, but AI is also picking up on it. So don't discount blogging as a great strategy for content. I love that you're doing that, Patricia. All right, let's see what else do I have. There's a lot of content and advice out there built for big brands. How do you help a small team unlearn that strategy? So, did we already talk about that? We did, didn't we? All right. So,
Yes.
what does a content strategy that's built specifically for a small team look like? How is it structurally different? So, let's talk about the structure of the strategy.
I'm still going to echo the three key pillars I always stand on: clarity, focus, consistency. Anything outside that, put it aside and wait for results from this. Yes. Clarity, focus, consistency. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. And that's a fairly easy thing to talk to a smaller team about. Say, this is what we're stay the course, right? I'm going to throw out there, what KPIs are you looking for success in the NGOs that you work with? What are you or your team looking for? Where do you want to see the needle move?
Uh, one of the companies I'm working for that's based in Uganda, uh, partners, to help them expand
Okay.
and get more branches in other countries. And then for the international NGOs, we're looking for more funds, donors. Yes, and also for the company Uganda that I'm working for, we're also looking for accounting firms and businesses, uh, IT firms and businesses that need remote workers. So yes, I'm also looking out for that, trying to get those accounting firms and IT firms abroad to hire the remote workers in the firm through social media. Yeah, so that's it. That's the kind
I
of.
actually love that your answer didn't include any numbers, didn't say more views, more engagement, nothing of this sort. Guys, this is the truth. We do
But it's
marketing
also
because
important.
right. What we want is partnerships. We want, more funds. That's our goal. And so, Patricia, you hit it on the head right there. I'm so glad you
Yeah.
didn't say, oh, we want more views or we want more followers. No, you want funds. You want, like it's the real stuff. So that was
Yes.
great. I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Can you believe we are at 30 minutes? Let me see I have two questions. Let me ask the closing question. If somebody is listening
It's
or
okay.
watching right now, and their content feels completely scattered, what should they do right now before doing anything else? They feel like, oh my gosh, I've been everywhere. I can't keep up. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads. I'm everywhere. I don't know what I'm doing. What do you tell them today to do?
I tell them to get a content strategy. If they can't make one themselves, let them ask AI. If AI is not giving them what they want, let them hire someone, because it's not optional. It is essential. It will shift what your company is doing. You'll stop working from just ideas, but you'll be working from a point of direction, and it's going to bring for you real results. Yes, and it will shift your entire business from being messy to being actually magnetic. A content strategy is very important. Yes.
I love that. Yeah. And instead of doing busy things, you're actually doing things that move the needle. Patricia, it was fantastic. And Eunice, you were here and asking all kinds of questions and being involved. I love that you were present. We had some people on here. They're still here at the end. It's awesome. We've got a good live audience. Patricia, how can people meet you? Where are you most active? Is it LinkedIn or is it somewhere else?
I am most active on LinkedIn. Yes,
Okay.
but I'm also available on Instagram and TikTok. Yes, so they can feel free to reach out. Yes.
All right. So you're going to give me those links. I'll put them in the show notes. So when somebody's listening to the show and watching this after as a replay, you can connect with Patricia on TikTok and Instagram or LinkedIn, and then connect with her. And if you are looking for help with strategy for a very small team, or you're an NGO and you're like, this is exactly what I need, or I want to partner with somebody in Uganda, talk to Patricia and her team. So I'm really excited that you were here today. I can't believe the time is up. This went by so fast. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for being with me live, Patricia. I'll be back next week with another episode of Strategy Talks. Bye, everybody. See you later. Bye.